It is a great honor to be here tonight, and I want to initially begin by thanking the people who made this or are making this happen. And of course, it's the Peace Islands Institute that is doing this. And I have to tell you that I have been to these events before, not as an MC. They didn't realize what they're getting into this year. But anyway, they had been doing this every year. And then, of course, COVID came and it impacted everyone's lives, and including, I'm sure, everyone here. And so this event did not happen in the last 2 years, but here we are again. So congratulations to the Peace Islands Institute for doing this. I want to specifically recognize the man in the middle. He's walking kind of in the middle. Mohammed Saeed he is the brains and the energy and everything behind this. So, the thing about the Peace Islands Institute is that they stand for everything good about humanity. And they are bringing us all together, many of us of different faiths, religions, races, whatever, here today because they stand for peace, love, respect, humanity, integrity, welfare, and understanding. I don't think I left anything out, but that's pretty amazing. And since I've known them for a decade now, they have helped bring people together in various locations. They always give us delicious dinners, and we are able to dialogue and talk and speak about the issues that bring us together, that we agree on, and those that we do not. So it's really, as I say, a great honor to be here tonight. So let me just talk a little bit. Tonight is, this is a Heroes Appreciation event. And who are the people we honor tonight? Well, let's just say there's two women who have dedicated their lives to law enforcement, the rule of law, and keeping us all safe. And when you think about what we know is going on in the world, what's going on in not just Philadelphia, but around the country and the world, what a difficult job, what a challenging job. But they have taken that on because they have a passion for service. In addition, we also honor a man who's dedicated his life to public service, in that he's trying to make sure that everyone's civil rights are honored, respected, and protected. We honor a woman who's dedicated her life and career to working with our diverse religious communities and to provide opportunities for greater understanding, dialogue, peace, and growth. And finally, we honor a man who has taken the lessons learned from a complex and a challenging life to work with young people here in Philadelphia to reduce violence, specifically firearms violence. So, what are some of the common denominators that each of these honorees, what do they have that brings us here to honor them? Well, I found some quotes and I think they're appropriate. Believe it or not, Bob Dylan said, "A hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with his freedom, or her freedom. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." That was Christopher Reeves. A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. Joseph Campbell. And Maya Angelou said, "I think a hero is really any person intent on making this a better place for all people." And knowing each of the people who we honor tonight, I think that description is for each and every one of them. So, who are our five heroes? Well, there's Jacqueline Maguire. She's the special agent in charge of the Philadelphia field office with the FBI that doesn't just cover Philadelphia. It covers Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Danielle Outlaw, the Philadelphia Police Commissioner. Randy Duque, the Deputy Director in charge of the Community Relations Division of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. Abby Stamelman Hocky, the Executive Director of Interfaith Philadelphia. And Robert Warner, the Director of Cure Violence Philadelphia. So just... Now, it's at this time that each of you have to get up and sing a song. So, are we ready? Okay. There you go. Yes. And if you want, I can play, you know, Apollo Creed, and you can just take me apart. Okay. I told you you'd regret this. Anyway. So, just a couple of things. I think that you should have received a booklet on your tables. So, and I hope that there's one for every one of you. When you get a chance, open it up, and you will be able to see bios. We're not going to read all the bios. I will just tell you that everyone who we're honoring is great, wonderful, and fantastic, and that's all you need to know. But actually, if you want to get more info, you're going to hear some of it later on. The restrooms are not in this room. Thank you, Rob. So the men's room, which took me some time to find, is actually down. You go out this door, and you go down the stairs. Now you make your immediate left when you get downstairs, because I started wandering. It's like a catacombs down there. So it's the first left. Shocking, I have not been up to the ladies' room, but I'm told it's upstairs. So hopefully you find it, and you'll let me know if you don't. If I hear screams, I'll know what that's right. This guy is. You know, can we just do this all the time? I don't know. Okay. All right. And so our schedule is going to be moved around a little bit. We're going to be juggling a little bit, but I think ultimately we're going to accomplish everything we're setting out to do. And so with that, who are these incredibly well-dressed men from the police department? They are from the Philadelphia Police Department Explorer Cadets. They're led by Corporal Brian Toyle, and they're going to honor us with the color guard, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors.
I should have said something.
Hey.
Mark sign. Right. Other. Hate. Present. Hunt.
Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, for amber waves to reign,
Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh. Oh, 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 right. Oh, right. Oh.
So before we sit, if we could all together say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And now we're going to hear an encore of that American. No, we're not. That was just me being silly. Okay. So, moving on to our next part of the welcome, I have the honor of introducing Vanya Womack. Vanya Womack. She is a Peace Islands board member, but when I read her bio, she's amazing. I'm just going to say a few words about her. She's the executive director of Refugees Unknown Stories Untold, an international organization that digitally documents refugee stories, creates empowerment programs for women and children who have experienced trauma as refugees, and advocates for human rights. She's a human rights expert, international speaker, published author, and adjunct faculty member at Villanova University teaching refugees and integration. So if I could turn it over to Vanya, here she is.
All right, well, you're a hard act to follow. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any dancing up here. But I might throw microphones.
We only needed one mic after all.
All right. Well, I welcome you to the 2022 Annual Public Heroes Appreciation Dinner on behalf of Peace Islands Institute of Pennsylvania. As you know, I'm Vanya Womack. I'm a board member for Peace Islands Institute, and it's an honor to be in the presence of honorable and distinguished guests like yourselves. Peace Islands Institute has created this platform to show appreciation and thanks to the men and women who make the ultimate sacrifice to build a safer community. This is actually our theme as well this year. Heroes like yourselves can be found serving 6 people in the middle of a pandemic, running into danger and not away from danger, and working late hours on projects that benefit the communities that you serve. It certainly doesn't sound easy to be heroes like yourselves, and we recognize that not every hero wears a cape. But we want to recognize you and let you know you are acknowledged as heroes for your work. You know, to build strong communities, law enforcement agencies, NGOs, faith and community leaders, and civic leaders must work together. Must work together to solve the problems our communities face today, and also be forward thinkers about the problems that we're going to face in the future. We hope this event tonight shows solidarity and unity in how communities that come together can work together. There is a quote that I found about unity. Unity means not only getting along with one's neighbors, but also having the ability to mobilize one's resources. Unity means moving forward together and acting in tandem with one another. And unity means being able to think as a community, not as individuals, thinking in terms of the greater good and looking forward beyond the immediate future. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, let us live together in peace and love in a beloved community. So Peace Islands Institute recognizes that those committed to public safety and community outreach play a critical role in dialogue and in how we encounter injustice and prejudice. Since our establishment, Peace Island Institute's locations across the country have worked to develop relations with law enforcement and communities to serve this in. We find new and different ways to work with members of the local community, its organizations, state and federal leadership to create platforms just like this one here tonight. We strive to be an agent of change by establishing dialogue among people of different faiths and cultures and creating projects with educators, students, business leaders, law enforcement agencies, and other community leaders to overcome disunity and hatred that are mainly rooted in ignorance. Ultimately, we strive to be change makers by bringing together leaders in the communities that we serve. Finally, all of our distinguished guests tonight, and those of you who have joined us, let me say that we as local citizens invited you today to recognize and appreciate all of our honorable public service men and women because of your nonstop service, your dedication as public servants, and your willingness to put your lives on the line for the greater good of our diverse communities. Today is about appreciating you for the effort, service, and sacrifice each of you and your organizations attest to. Although we were only able to award 5 heroes tonight, we believe everyone here is a hero, as you believe we can build a safer community by working together. So I'd like to recognize 2 people. The first one has been recognized a little bit already, but the executive director, Saeed Selmar, who has worked tirelessly putting this program and all of the details together. You know, Saeed is a big part of Peace Islands and the glue that pulls us all here tonight. He's most often found meeting with people in the community and is someone I call a networker for change. He doesn't let an opportunity go by where he can use networks to connect people of our communities to resources, education, and opportunities for dialogue. Now, many of you won't know this, but this kind of program holds a special place for Saeed. You see, he was once in the police academy in Turkey before the regime shut down his school after the 2016 failed coup attempt. He was decorated and distinguished as a young officer at the academy, which is a very difficult school to become a member of, and where only the top % are allowed to attend. Well, he now works for all of us. He works for his community differently, but in a way that brings us all together. Not only is he a networker for change, but he is also a change maker. A person who sees that unity and solidarity within communities brings peace and understanding to counter hate and crime. Thank you, Saeed, for putting on such an excellent program tonight. And our MC, Mr. Robert Reed, the Executive Deputy Attorney General for Pennsylvania. He has successfully worked with communities across the state, including working with many of you here tonight. In fact, I've been told he's like, where's Waldo? He's in and out of so many communities that it's hard to keep track of where he is. On that note, although we've not officially started our award ceremony, I would like to invite you, Saeed, to the podium to give an award of special recognition to Mr. Robert Reed, our MC for tonight.
Is this it? Are these should I come here? Very sweet. Wow.
Thank you very much. Although it wasn't part of the event, we just want to recognize Rob. As Wanya mentioned, he's a great person that I'm pleased to know, and we've been working with for years. And I'm sure he just every part of Pennsylvania, meeting with communities just for solutions for us that we have to come together. So that's why I want to recognize him here tonight in front of you, all of you. And second one, as Wanya mentioned, thank you very much. I want to thank each of you for coming here tonight. It's a real pleasure and honor to see you. And as she mentioned, we were only able to recognize 5 of you maybe, but I'm sure and I believe we have lots of heroes here tonight, more than 5, because you believe that you appreciate what these people do, and you also, I'm sure you believe that we can be part of the solution together by working together. It's like being here always has billions against it. So, and nowadays, unfortunately, we have lots of billions. That's why these heroes have to come together and become Avengers. So I hope you can.
So thank you very much, and by the way, with this, I'm done. See you later. No, this was completely unexpected, and I don't even charge for these services. So, but I thought I was just going to get 2 mics to take with me. But anyway, so first of all, if I didn't thank them for the honor guard, I want to once again thank the Philadelphia Explorer cadets for their service generally and for their service tonight. Thank you. So this is a great honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker, Special Agent in Charge of the FBI, Jacqueline Maguire. I have to tell you that I love the FBI. I have been in federal service before I came to the AG's office for 35 years, and I worked a lot with the FBI, and we did great things. I worked with great agents and supervisors. We did amazing things, accomplished amazing things, and one thing about being on the state side is I don't get to work with the FBI as I did before. So, just as before we hear from the Special Agent in Charge, let me just say that, you can read her bio, but I was thinking about it, and, all we can do is capture a snippet of someone's career. So if you've been doing something for decades, how do you somehow summarize what they've done and their contributions and their public service? Well, the one thing, of course, and I guess it would catch your eye as well as mine, but if you dare to reflect on September 11, 2001, imagine if you were asked to be the lead investigator of the tragic Flight 77. And I remember those days because I was in the U.S. Attorney's Office. But this was a scheduled, do you remember 9/11? And this was a scheduled American Airlines domestic flight that was going out to Los Angeles from, I believe it was Dulles. And the plane was hijacked by terrorists. And they turned it around and they crashed into the Pentagon, ultimately killing everybody on board. I think it was 64 people, and another 125 people died in the building, causing massive damage. And the woman you are now about to hear from, this was something she did 21 years ago. And she's gone on to do all these other things, including now being the head of the FBI office with hundreds of agents under her direction, dealing with everything from domestic terrorism, international terrorism, from gun violence to civil rights, white-collar crime, corruption, and she has to oversee all of that. So, obviously, she's a deserving recipient of the award tonight, but before we get there, let us hear now from Special Agent in Charge, Jacqueline Maguire.
It is an honor to be here tonight alongside many colleagues, my counterparts, my fellow award recipients. As the Peace Islands Institute once again recognizes the work of law enforcement and our public safety partners and community members. Each of us trying to work in our own way to make our world a better place, to make our little corner of the world a safer and more inclusive place. I think I speak on behalf of my fellow award recipients, though, when I say that we certainly wouldn't consider ourselves heroes. I know I'm here to receive this award in my name, but I'm certainly here representing all of the men and women of FBI Philadelphia. Because we don't wear that label of heroes comfortably. We're just individuals whose path in life happened to lead us to public service. We want to find a job with moral content, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. I thought the FBI director, our director, Christopher Wray, put it beautifully recently when he talked about public service just last week at the University of Michigan, and how it doesn't have to affect dozens or hundreds of millions of people to be meaningful. That it's meaningful, even as mentioned earlier, if you affect one person one day. Because Director Wray said all public service requires is a commitment to the pursuit of justice for every American for as long as it takes. I want to speak a little bit about my own career that Rob mentioned. I've been very, very fortunate in my career. And I'm coming up to my 23rd anniversary in the FBI, which is unbelievable some days because it goes really quick. But my career in public service started when I graduated from the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia in 2000. My first field assignment was to the New York office. I grew up in New York on Long Island, so I was happy to return home. And I ended up on a squad working counterterrorism, and I loved my job. I love my colleagues, I love the mission of the FBI, and I love the camaraderie that I felt every day among my colleagues. Every day as a new agent, I felt honored and proud to be a part of the FBI. And that feeling only grew when 3 months into my assignment on counterterrorism squad, as Rob mentioned, 4 different passengers' jets were hijacked and crashed in New York, in Arlington, Virginia, and here in Pennsylvania. So many people have pointed to September 11th, 2001 as a turning point in our history, much like the invasion of Normandy or the assassination of John F. Kennedy. September 11th is certainly a turning point for America and for us as Americans. It was certainly a turning point for the FBI on that day too. As we recall on that horrific day, thousands of innocent people, and unfortunately many more since due to illness related to 9/11, lost their lives at the hands of terrorists, evil, twisted, and psychopathic in ways that we as a country in America had never before witnessed or realized. As an FBI agent in New York, I was brand new that day. I responded to the World Trade Center with some colleagues. And of course, unfortunately, there was not much we could do that terrible day. But over the next decade, and ever since, 9/11 has come to define my job, first as one of the case agents on the investigation into the attacks, and today as Special Agent in Charge here in Philadelphia in an FBI that looks profoundly different than it did before 9/11. Today's FBI reflects changes in every program we work, every investigation, and every community we serve. Those changes continue to impact and shape the FBI as we seek to combat new and emerging threats that are coming towards us every day, and new and emerging adversaries who are after us. Among other things, the Bureau has learned to be a lot more proactive and forward-leaning. After 9/11, we had to assess our priorities and the best strategies to address them in a post-9/11 world. I'll tell you, from September 12th on, from September 12, 2001 on, to this day, the importance of partnerships has grown exponentially, and it's become a bedrock principle of the FBI's overall strategy. It became clear, first in the counterterrorism space, and then beyond that, our partnerships with state and local law enforcement were key in recognizing and responding to all manners of threats. Because our partners in state and local law enforcement are the ones out there on the streets, knowing their neighborhoods much better than we can, knowing what's going on and why in their communities. And all those eyes and ears on the ground are certainly a force multiplier for us. These days, the FBI is the first to recognize, and in fact, we try to shout it from the hilltops, that we can't do our job without those law enforcement partners. Many of them literally sit shoulder to shoulder with our agents, analysts, and professional staff in our field office squad rooms, And here in Philadelphia, not only here in the city, but in our 8 satellite offices around eastern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey, our 45-county area of responsibility. And those task force officers are part of an alphabet soup of task forces, combating everything from terrorism to drug trafficking, gang violence to cyber violations, organized crime to child sexual exploitation. At the end of the day, in the face of what seems to be sometimes seemingly unlimited threats, everyone in law enforcement has to work together with our limited resources, because we have to make the most of our respective capabilities, our resources, because cooperation is key. And this task force model, where we sit shoulder to shoulder working together, has proven more effective than any of us could have hoped for. These connections we've built deepen by the day to the benefit of all of our respective agencies and ultimately to the benefit of the public. Collaboration with our community partners is equally imperative in this day and age, because we share common goals, a safer world for our families and a commitment to the freedom that we hold so dear in this country. For various reasons, as we know, law enforcement often runs up against obstacles and walls that form between us and the communities that we serve. But to break down these walls, we must do our absolute best to speak clearly, to speak honestly, and to speak clearly with the people that we serve. And we must work to carve out opportunities to show the communities who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. Because earning and maintaining that public trust, it's a process, and one that no one in law enforcement should take for granted. Through the FBI's community outreach efforts, on a daily basis, we're seeking to establish and strengthen our ties with religious and civil organizations, with racial and ethnic groups, with schools and nonprofits, and others around our region. Because the goal of these relationships is to exchange ideas and to dispel misunderstandings, to become more aware of our respective resources and our needs, and to build contacts within our organizations and communities. In the FBI, we like to do this through face-to-face meetings, as we all do, now that we can in the post-COVID world. And initiatives like our Citizens Academy, and I know we do have a few graduates of our Citizens Academy here tonight. This is an 8-week program that we hold here in FBI Philadelphia annually to give community leaders a personal introduction to the mission, the capabilities, and the people of the FBI. We host an annual Teen Academy as well to demystify the Bureau for young people. Maybe even spark some interest in a career in law enforcement in the future. I'm talking to you, cadets. Agents and our community outreach team also work with kids at schools, giving presentations on important topics like drugs and human trafficking, sextortion, and other cyber crimes. Because all of this community engagement, this engagement and connection with the public is vital, because if we don't do that, if they don't know us, we risk losing that trust and that confidence. I'm so thankful for groups like the Peace Islands Institute who are working to help bridge the gap. The philosophy of bringing together different points of view and emphasizing mutual respect. Thankful for the excellent connection that I have here in Philadelphia with partners, the Philadelphia Police Department led by Commissioner Outlaw, with the Pennsylvania State Police, with the City of Philadelphia, and all of our fellow law enforcement and public safety partners throughout the region. I'm thankful for the wonderful community engagement with the public that I've experienced since I've been back here in Philadelphia. And I say back here because I'm a proud Villanova graduate, so I'm happy to be back in the area and cheer on my Wildcats. And I'm grateful for the warm relationships that have formed here over the past year. All of us working together for the benefit of all, just as it should be in law enforcement and public service. Again, it's an honor and pleasure to be with you all here tonight. Thank you for the award on behalf of my team at FBI Philadelphia. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And congratulations to all my fellow nominees. I'm honored to stand beside you tonight. Thank you.
So, I have two responses to that presentation. First of all, it's not a song. It is not a song. No, you're right to be afraid. You're right to be. Here we have the special agent in charge of the FBI afraid of me. I just want to point that out. But You have been in the FBI for 23 years. I can't remember when I was in law enforcement for 23 years. That's how long ago it was. So anyway, I wish you a very, very long career. The other thing I wanted to say is that one of the things in the Special Agent Chart's resume is she got 2 John Marshall Awards from the Department of Justice. Now, having been in the Department of Justice for more than 30 years, that's the highest award you can get. And I should know because I've never gotten it. As a matter of fact, for those of you who remember that old soap opera, Susan Lucci, I was nominated twice, didn't get it. So I didn't get it. She's gotten it twice. So, on behalf of the Peace Islands Institute, I want to congratulate you on your lifetime of extraordinary service and being the recipient of the Public Heroes Appreciation Award. It's presented to you this night. I don't know if you want to take a picture. Got it? And this is for you. Okay. And there's also, dun 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 dun, this will take me about, got it. See that? I'm going to read it in multiple languages. This is from the Senate of Pennsylvania. I'm not going to read it in multiple languages. I'm not going to read it at all. This is congratulations, and it's I'm just going to read the first part. The Senate of Pennsylvania takes great pleasure in recognizing those citizens who, through dedication and excellence, contribute in a meaningful way to the well-being of their communities and ultimately to all the people of this great Commonwealth. And whereas Jacqueline Maguire is being honored by the Peace Islands Institute during its 2022 annual Public Heroes Appreciation Dinner, and so welcome back, everybody. And I hope you had a delicious dinner. We want to thank the Zaytun Turkish cuisine for our sumptuous dinner. I'd like to say, sometimes people will say, well, we got to get ourselves going, we'll do some exercise, stand up and down. I think it's nap time. But anyway, I also want to thank Fatih Baram and Gabriel Aldor, who are our amazing musicians. And I would love to just have them play it. Okay. So, okay. So, a couple of announcements. The bathroom for the men is still downstairs, for the women it's upstairs. Also, I wanted to recognize, since Ghazi was not here, he just wanted to be fashionably late. Ghazi out of 7 is here, and yes, please. And he's here. I also, look, I know so many of you, and you're all exceptional people. This is such a feel-good event. It's just, you almost have to pinch yourself. But I did want to recognize Lieutenant William Slayton from the Pennsylvania State Police. And I've asked him to speak for 2 to 3 hours. He has declined, but anyway, it's great to see him, as always. So this is just a brief infomercial. So one of the things that Peace Islands is thinking about doing and wants to get involved in, and we've got a lot of the right people here to do this. It's a proposal for countering hate crimes. Now, I know the FBI doesn't do anything like that. It was a joke. It was a joke. And the Philadelphia Police Department doesn't do that. Joke. Okay. But the bottom line is, and the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations doesn't do that. But anyway, there are a lot of people. As a matter of fact, back in 2017 through 2019, we had 3 hate crimes conferences at the National Constitution Center. And I understand that, where is she? Well, anyway, here she is. So what we'd like to do is, look, not everybody is as lovable as we are. And that's the one thing that I think is a truism. And so I just want you to know that the Peace Islands Institute is interested in working with everybody here to combat this insipid, disease of hate crimes. And I also want to just recognize Ebony Wortham from the U.S. Attorney's Office. There she is. And Ebony is, I think I've got her position right, Executive Assistant U.S. Attorney. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the reason I know that is because that was my title. She spelled it. And she's probably got three John Marshalls over it. But anyway, so she's fairly new to the U.S. Attorney's Office because the U.S. Attorney was just appointed, Jacqueline Romero, who's wonderful, and I've known her for years. But you need to know Ebony. I hope she has lots of cards because Ebony is great, and she's going to do fantastic things for community outreach and doing things like reducing crime and violence through working together and dealing with issues like hate crimes. So I just wanted to point that out. It's Ebony Wortham. She's right there. She's going to have 300 to 400 cards, I'm sure, and she wants to give them to everyone. And she always gives out her home number as well. Call in. All right. So shut up, Rob. Now the next thing is I just want you to know, for anyone who plans to get up here tonight, I am a walking liability suit. Because I spilled ginger ale all over the place. So my feet are sticking. So I don't know if you can hear that. But so just be a little mindful, a little careful when you're here. As strong as I am, I'm not sure I can save you. And these steps are treacherous. So anyway, so what I'd like to do is to move to the second honoree. And again, we're not going in the order. This is somebody's cell phone, by the way. I'm not stealing cell phones, but if anyone wants it, it's up here. We're not going in the order in the program, but I would like to now honor the Philadelphia Police Commissioner, Danielle Outlaw, who is seated right in front of me. And she has, again, one of these amazing histories, careers. She's obviously dealing with just issues that we can't even fathom. What's going on in Philadelphia has some to do with law enforcement, a lot to do with not law enforcement, and it's all coming together. But the person that I want to bring up to speak about her is Captain John Walker. Now, it's not Johnny Walker for those of you who want to drink. It's John Walker, and I've known John for many years because we worked together. Actually, we did a lot of stuff on gun violence, and he was a lieutenant in Southwest Philadelphia. Great. I mean, that's all I can say. He was great at what he did. We were able to do all sorts of wonderful stuff, and I could really spend the entire time not talking about Commissioner Outlaw, I'm talking about you, John. But anyway, but I won't do that. But I wanted to bring John up and have him make some remarks on behalf of the Police Commissioner.
He's right. Yeah. There is ginger ale. Seriously, all over the place here. So, thank you, everyone. So again, thanks, Rob, for those kind words. And again, Rob, again, he talks highly of a lot of people, but I'll just give a brief story before I recognize my excellent boss here in Philadelphia. But Rob came in the Southwest Detectives in 06. We were experiencing levels of crime like we never saw before. Asians being followed home, robbed at home, and gun violence, 25 shooters a week. And he comes over there with his executive team and sits with us, and of course he leaves. You got these feds that come in, local law enforcement. We know how it goes back and forth, and these suits come in, and we're like, this guy's crazy. There's no way this is going to work. But we developed a partnership that was incredible with the FBI, ATF, DEA, and we drove that the murder rate in Southwest Division down 62% over 10 years, the largest decline probably in the country at that point, 2016 down to 49 murders in that division. So Rob and I looked through this room with some of the other honorees, Randy, young Jerry McShay, who work with me, and a bunch of other people who have been working as a team. So, but I'll talk about our honoree tonight, the best police commissioner in the city, best police commissioner in the country at this point. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw. She's an experienced and respected law enforcement leader. She stands at the helm of the nation's 4th largest police department, which employs over 6,000 sworn officers, 800 civilians, who all work in this city every day to try to make this city safer for each and every one of us. And it's no easy task. As the commissioner came here in some very volatile times, in my old district, in the 15th district, an officer was killed in the line of duty, and pretty much only here for a month. And no one wants to deal with that as a captain of a district and sure as a police commissioner, but it happened. And then COVID hit, and you're dealing with that craziness of COVID. So Commissioner Outlaw is the first African-American woman to lead the Philadelphia Police Department, and her overreaching community safety goals are rooted in things that if I get these wrong, I'll probably get fired.
You will.
So crime prevention and reduction is one of the big things. We all know that we're constantly looking to serve you as citizens of the city to make sure that you can walk freely amongst your neighbors, amongst your friends, and amongst your family without being with that fear of crime. Organizational excellence, putting us on the map, making sure every day we're exceeding our goals. And community engagement inclusion, which is why we're all here tonight, right? We all look different, but my mom always told me is that's the great thing about America. Being different and understand and communicate with each other. It's something I've done throughout my career in Philadelphia Police Department for 32 years. I've been here almost 33. So prior to taking the helm here in Philadelphia as the top law enforcement officer, she broke the ceiling in Portland, Oregon also as the chief there in the Oregon Bureau of Police. She began her career in Oakland, California. She spent Commissioner Outlaw spent over 20 years there with the Oakland Police Department. And she was able to earn, well, in this law enforcement service, it's difficult. Yeah. But not only did she raise a family, she received a bachelor's degree in sociology and a master's degree from Pepperdine University with an MBA. She's also a graduate of the Police Executive Research Forum, Senior Management Institute of Police, the Major City Chiefs of Police Association Police Executive Leadership Institute, and the FBI National Executive Institute. Commissioner Outlaw is also a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police Human and Civil Rights Committee, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, and is an Eastern Region representative member of the Major City Chiefs of Police. So again, let's raise our glasses and clap for Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw.
I'll say thank you. It's not often that we get honored publicly. We don't do these jobs for pleases and thank yous. We don't expect it. And even, I didn't know what Johnny was going to say, quite frankly, so I was sitting there the whole time like, what are you going to say, sir? But to hear your accomplishments is, I've evolved so much because I recall sitting as a younger baby chief and I would feel my face get hot. And say, oh my gosh, do we have to say all that? Now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, you read all that. Right? Because we've worked hard. And the reason why I share that is because all of you recognize how hard each of us are working, not just myself, but my fellow honorees here. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the public acknowledgement. Thank you for recognizing us and my colleagues and our officers as the heroes that they truly are. In a time where it quite frankly hasn't been that popular in the last 3 years. I won't recant everything that we've been through in the last 3 years, but I can certainly say that I believe the pendulum is beginning to swing back to some form of common sense and normalcy, but our officers haven't forgotten what the narrative has been over the last few years. So it's this type of public support. When they see me being poured into, they recognize that they too are also being supported. So I not only receive this just on behalf of myself, but on behalf of all of the law enforcement around the country, quite frankly, that's just been going through it. and they haven't gotten the public acknowledgement or the thank yous or the pleases or the we appreciate you. We've seen the increases in the assaults against our police officers or those on law enforcement, and we still get up each and every day to do this work because we're passionate and we love our communities. So thank you again for this honor. Congratulations to all of the honorees tonight, but just thank you for recognizing that there is still humanity in the authority that we carry.
So this is yours.
On behalf of the state of Pennsylvania and the Senate, of the state of Pennsylvania, there's a congratulations from the state Senate. This is for your reading pleasure. I won't go through it. It's great stuff. It's ripping, especially the last paragraph. But enjoy and congratulations for all you do. And as you say, what you do is extraordinary, and what the police do. And I've worked with the police department forever, and it's hard. It's really hard. So I wish you the very best of health and of joy, especially this season.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
I forgot one person, Miss Ebony Williams. She's going to kill me. But Rob Reed's correct. Get her business card, because she will be an important contact for you.
Everyone should get 2 cards from her each. So, moving right along. So, it gives me a great pleasure to now recognize Randy, okay, of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. And I've known Randy for a long time. We've done lots of stuff together, and great stuff. And remember, he was involved in those conferences that we did, and we were involved in other outreach and working. Had this, I was going to say rapid response team that you oversaw to kind of deal with kind of hate crimes issues and other issues. So, but I am not going to say anything else, because I am going to call on Kia G, who is the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. That side.
I'm a witness.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kia Gee, and I'm the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. I want to say thank you all of the nominees or awardees for your service and commitment to social justice, to peace, to law enforcement. You are often not recognized in ways in which you need to be, and so thank you all for that. But I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing my colleague and Deputy Director, Randy Duque. So before I introduce Randy more formally, I'll just talk a little bit about the agency. We were created in 1951, and we are one of the first municipal civil rights enforcement agencies in the United States. So our agency is tasked with ending discrimination, ensuring equal rights, and also building strong communities. We do that in a variety of ways, primarily through the 2 different divisions that we have. The first is our compliance division, and they actually enforce all of the city's civil rights laws. So we have over 17 protected categories, and we ensure that folks who fall under those categories do not experience discrimination in their employment, in public accommodation, and in housing. And then the other part of our agency, which is equally important, is our Community Relations Division. And that is the division that is headed by Randy Duque. And Oftentimes, people ask what our Community Relations Division does. And we like to say that we are the official peacemaker for Philadelphia. We also ensure that we are the dot connector to make sure that all the city services are responsive to the needs of the residents here in Philadelphia. Our services are only as good as our team. And Randy is a unique person because first of all, if anyone knows Randy, well, sure, everyone in here knows Randy. But one thing you'll know about Randy is when he puts out a call, people respond. And they do that because they know his commitment. He has led our agency's civil rights rapid response to ensure that state and local law and federal law enforcement partners are connected when we have hate and bias incidents. He also ensures that our community relations team responds when there are neighborhood disputes, neighbor-to-neighbor disputes. We provide conflict resolution and mediation, and also ensure that services provided to immigrants are culturally competent. And we have a variety of ways that we do that. So I wanted to share a personal story about Randy, though. When I started, I was appointed in June of 2021. And Randy was one of the people that ensured that my transition was as seamless as possible. And it could only be seamless because of all the hard work and dedication that he put in throughout his term as acting executive director. Back in November of 2021, we had an incident where several students from Central High School, several Asian students from Central High School were attacked in the Broad Street subway line. And before we could really even send out the signals to have all of our colleagues in the administration to be present, Randy was already on the phone with city council, with community leaders, with local community-based agencies, and just identifying what the needs of the victims were, and also what the needs were of the others that were involved. And so as a result of the work that we did for that particular incident, one of the things that he wanted to do was say, how do we take this incident, which is horrific, and turn it into a positive for the city? And we began meeting weekly to develop a program that would bring Black and Asian community stakeholders together. Because we knew that there was growing tension because of the fact that a lot of the hate and bias incidents that had happened with AAPI residents happened to involve African Americans. And so we knew that there was growing tension. And one of the things that we did was we hosted a Black and Gold Leadership Boot Camp. Through that Black and Gold Leadership Boot Camp, we took community stakeholders and appointed commissioners and brought them together over a series of 3 different sessions for guided dialogue on things that make us different, things that bring us together, some of the biases that we we as a community have had, and some of the experiences that have led to those biases. And Randy was integral in ensuring that all of our facilitators were active, engaged, that they were respectful of all the different perspectives, which is difficult to do, particularly when you're talking about bias. He also ensured that every single session was, that there was a safe space for folks to communicate in their authentic selves. So I like to say that Randy is my better half. But truthfully, Randy is one of the cogs in the wheels that keeps our agency going. So I couldn't be more proud to introduce him tonight. And when you get a minute, you can take a look at his bio in there, because he has a lot of great accolades. But one thing you'll know about Randy, and you'll always remember about him, is that he has a heart for the community. He has a heart for unity, which is a totally different skill set to have. And he ensures that we are all ready for the task. So with that being said, it brings me great honor to introduce him and allow him to receive this award.
Check, go 2.
I forgot to say that he was a musician.
Yes.
He was a musician, a guitar player, and a singer.
I wasn't really expecting that. So I'm going to say some things that you already heard already about the Commission on Human Relations, because I was told to present, to prepare a speech, and I put that in there because a lot of people ask what we do. So I also prepared this because I wanted to make sure I got all the points that I wanted to say. So first of all, good evening. And thank you to the Peace Islands Institute for selecting me as one of the recipients of the Public Heroes Awards. I'm truly humbled to be among such an esteemed and accomplished panel of honorees. Also, thank you to my family and friends and colleagues for being here this night of auspiciousness. I do wish my scion in Malaysia and my dad in heaven were here and would like to dedicate this time to them. Actually, I have to thank Saeed for streaming this live so that my fiance can see it here in Malaysia. So I have spent much of my career working behind the scenes. In fact, someone recently actually joked that I'm the shadow government for the city. So it's particularly touching to me to be recognized in such a way, both by the joke and the award, of course. But working behind the scenes seems to be the running theme of my life, now that I think of it. In high school, my favorite extracurricular activity was being on stage crew. And as you heard, I'm a musician as well, but most of my experience as a performer is as a bass player. And bass players are those members of the band who often go unnoticed unless they're not there. True. Look, so you know music, they like something. Unless of course they're really like Lucy Collins, something like that, out there. But I'm not that kind of guy. Anyway, as a person working in the field of conflict resolution and management, it is important to work under the radar to create peace. It's also important to maintain confidentiality. That's not too hard for me because, well, I don't really gossip. Anyway, although it does make it hard to vent about work sometimes. But with that said, I do feel I should tell you a bit more about who I am and what I do. I like to say that I'm a full spectrum conflict management expert. I used to say specialist, but since I've been working in the field of conflict resolution for about 20 years, I think I can say expert at this point. I also use the term full spectrum as my experience covers everything from mediation and constructive conflict communication to hand-to-hand combat as a martial arts practitioner and former instructor, to spending 10 years as an infantryman with the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. So I can tell you and enact better ways to deal with a wide range of conflict situations or how to make them even worse. In some circles, people see me at various celebratory events, and in others, they see me out in the midst of protests. To some, I'm the hate crimes guy, and then there are those who call me the fixer. For the last 8.5 years, I've been in charge of the Community Relations Division, as you heard, of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. If you're unfamiliar with them, we are the oldest municipal agency in the country, dedicated to enforcing civil rights and anti-discrimination laws. But I don't do that, as you heard. My division works to promote peace among and resolve tensions throughout Philadelphia's diverse community. We work to promote peace. We conduct trainings in topics like conflict resolution, bias awareness, and de-escalation. We provide mediation and intervention to neighbors and communities in conflict. While I have a small team of 6 who work tirelessly to provide these services across the city, I cover more complex and higher level issues. But I wanted to share with you 4 values, among others, that I believe help me to accomplish the work that I do. First of all, education. One of my professors, when I was working on my master's in applied communication and conflict processes, said in a lecture that education is everywhere. Another professor, who was also one of my mentors, taught me that the most elegant theories often seem common sense. Then there was a professor and mentor who said that the U.S. is emotionally constipated, but that's another story. Anyway, I took those first 2 statements to heart and really tried to find lessons in everything around me. I try to apply these lessons learned in ways that appear to be common sense, so that the trainings I do and the actions I take to promote peace are more intuitive. The second value is relationships. Early in my career, I learned the importance of diversifying the people I work with. I built relationships not just with the people in the mediation world, and a lot of the nonprofit mediation works with families law. No, it didn't turn out so well. So it was then that I knew I had to join the military and went in as a regular enlisted service member. However, the job I originally wanted of intelligence was not available, so I ended up going infantry. I was uncomfortable at even the sight of a firearm, but felt that if I really wanted to be effective in my profession, I had to enlist, and I think in the long run it worked out. The fourth value is spirituality. One of the things I really appreciated about the military was the recognition of the importance of having spirituality, as it is a strong connection to something beyond our understanding that can bring us comfort and resolve. Also, as a son of immigrants, the universality of my Catholic Christian faith is one of the few aspects that help keep me connected to my cultural heritage, since it is not uncommon for second-generation citizens to feel or be fully recognized by people from either culture. Still, with this deep faith, I'm guided to do what is right, to share the gifts given to me with others in order to make the world a better place, and that the outcomes of decisions, like them or not, are for a reason beyond our understanding. We just need to learn from them, which brings me back to my first point. As you can see in the program booklet, the Peace Islands Institute envisions a world becoming an island of peace in the ocean of our universe, a community in which people from all walks of life interact with each other and cooperate to serve their communities, thereby strengthening civil society and promoting the development of human values. While I may have been nominated for the work I've done as a public servant, I believe it is those values of education, relationships, spirituality, and comforting the unknown that reflect PII's vision, which, I imagine, makes me an island of peace in the ocean of our community. I hope my words inspired you to be an island of peace as well, and that you found some useful tips to getting there. Thank you very much.
So we're just gonna make a quick switch here for a second, and whoops. We are very fortunate to have Pennsylvania Superior Court Judge Carolyn Nichols here, who's going to actually present the award to Randy.
I don't want daggers coming out of the eyes, because I know we have many honorees, but it's about healing. It's about peace. I was a trial court judge in the Southwest Division before I became an appellate judge, so many of the shootings you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. And the judges understand the what and the how, but I understand the why. And that's why we need faith-based organizations and community groups to help us with the why. because we can't take the pain away. There are no winners in court. You know, there's no winners. So that pain, that trauma, we can't cure. I can't stop the pain. But that's why we need all of you. And I want to thank Peace Islands and everyone else that's here tonight, so that we can work together to stop the pain, stop the trauma, you know, stop the drama and the trauma, and really achieve peace.
I know there's going to be some pictures, but I have the, what's that?
Some technical difficulties.
Okay, some technical difficulties. Well, I'll just keep talking then. So this is that citation that everyone knows and loves, and I know all the honorees are going to, at 11:03 tonight, going to open up this thing, and they're going to look at it, but it really is very nice. And it was done by Senator Christine Tartaglione. I got that right this time. All the way to where? Malaysia? I don't know. Malaysia. Okay, you got it. And this is for you, Randy. Thank you. So congratulations to Randy and of course family as well, who are all here. Did you get a picture? Oh, by the way, one thing I was asked to do, to the extent, and I know that you know, the police commissioner, the FBI special agent in charge, nobody has any place to go because, you know, la la la. But if you're able to hang out, we're not going to be that much longer. We'd love to get a group picture. Okay, so if it's possible to stay, have some coffee, you know, hors d'oeuvres, post hors d'oeuvres, end d'oeuvres, whatever they are. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So next we have a woman who, you talk to her for 2 seconds and you feel a sense of kindness, gentleness, and peace. My blood pressure goes from its normal of 2,000 over 1,813 to like 120 over 80. And it's Abby Stamelman Hocky, and she's with Interfaith Philadelphia. But I have the privilege of introducing the introducer, because it's Shukri Kordi, who I've known for many years, and he's just a great guy. He is got such a big heart. He has embraced me after he and Marwan Creedy yelled at me a lot back in 2010, but I couldn't have been kinder, opened the doors of Al-Aqsa, treated me, brought me to his home. He is just a wonderful person who is all about bringing people together. That's why this group here tonight is such an exceptional group of people. So I consider Shukri a friend, a great friend, a wonderful human being, and the perfect person to introduce Abby. Does that still work? Oh, that still works. I don't know if you want to use this or this. Just be careful.
Good evening, everybody. I don't know why always he would like to put me on the spot. 1999, I had a problem. Actually, my daughter had a problem in Colonial School District. To a point, for almost a month, I tried to resolve the problem, and I couldn't. And then it got to be very serious. So I called the ADL and asked for help. And here the ADL set up the appointment, which I couldn't get. They came with the young lady with the JCRC, Jewish Community Relation. I will never forget that day and the support I got from ADL and JCRC. And that relationship starts from 1999. Until 2001, when we have the tragedy of September 11, we didn't know what to do after that. Into 2003, we heard about a conference in a little town in Spain called Manresa, in the suburb of Barcelona. There were 90 cities from around the world getting together just to sit and have a dialogue together from all kinds of faith. So Abby told me, and I said, we will go. So Abby and I and two reverends went together to Manresa, Spain. We stayed for almost a week there. We interacted with so many different people, so many different religions, so many things I never heard before. And we came back with the idea to start an interfaith in Greater Philadelphia. All of us decided to go do the work, but actually who did the work was Abby. She is the one who put everything into order. She solicited for donation, for a grant, for a place to set the organization. She did everything. We get the credit for it. So we worked together. We worked together until before COVID started. We have 70 group of students in high school and middle school, Christian, Jewish, and Muslim students together. Imagine 70 group. They meet, they educate each other about their religion, work together, understand each other, and remember, these kids is going to go into the society with all that passion in their heart. So that was Abby's doing. And then it was our dream to go to the Holy Land. That from day one. And was happy in 2015 was able to set up the trip. So we went. It was beautiful to visit the whole area from every city we visit. It was beautiful. It was more important, we met with every group from every side, from the Palestinian side, from the Israeli side, which they work together for the same goal, to understand each other, to have peace in their community, and how to can live together. And we spent that between Turkey and Israel and the West Bank. It was awesome until we came back home. So I do have the pleasure to introduce my friend Abby, which I will never forget, to be our honoree today.
What a surprise. We had breakfast last week. You didn't say a word.
Not told me not to say anything.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Peace Islands Institute. What Shukri didn't say was the part of our trip to Turkey was guided by Faizi, who I just asked about when I was talking to Ghazi. And we really learned then about the schools and the work, the political work, the challenges of doing this on a global scale. And I'm just so moved that look what you've done tonight to bring together all sectors, people in our region. Really the first time after COVID for us to be in person, to really embrace one another, and this wide vision that Shukri described kind of came out of this notion that here we are in the birthplace of religious liberty and the birthplace of democracy, and we need people to shepherd this. And the time is now really, in Parker Palmer's words, to heal the heart of democracy. And that's what we're really here for. And I just wanted to tell one other story, as all of you from law enforcement and human relations organizations, the Human Relations Commission, we rallied together in 2015 when there was a really insidious hate organization, AFDI, that came to cities all over the country, you may remember, and put anti-Islamic ads on buses and in bus and transit stations. And we had warning for about 6 months from SEPTA that they had gotten an ad that they had declined, and we watched this happen from city to city to city around the country. And we learned from them what was happening, and we gathered together so many people in this room. There were 30 people in the coalition, from the mayor's office to the Human Relations Commission and all the law enforcement agencies and religious groups, the entire Religious Leaders Council. I would like to recognize Bishop Davenport for being here tonight, and really who sits on our Religious Leaders Council. And it was so heartwarming to see the city of brotherly and sisterly love really coming together. It wasn't just the people that talk about how we have to know and love one another. It really came together. But what was astounding after watching over months this play out in the media and hate being spewed was that we decided to come up with a counter ad that was our call to action at Interfaith Philadelphia, which is Dare to Understand. And we put up billboards, and we had it on the back page of the Metro paper, and newspapers around the country and talk radio shows were calling us because they had never heard of anything like this. And it was so positive, the vibe that got put out into the community, and the antithesis of what happened in other cities. And we had learned this, that most cities tried to do counter ads, trying to discredit the insidious implications of what Islam was about. And all that did was bring back more ads and get more of the negative messages into the air. So I'm just so proud to be part of this region that really knows how to stand together, stand with one another. It's very difficult times, and we're going to keep doing it. I want to recognize my colleagues who are here tonight: Sarah Zibovitz, Alexis Freeman-Fillmore, my husband Eric Hocky, and all the community partners that are here that we work with throughout the year. It's really work that we will not let the fire stop until the light shines on everyone. So thank you.
And I am here because that's what I do. Abby, you cannot leave. This is the citation. At 11:03 tonight, you and all the other honorees are going to be opening this kind of like the Ten Commandments. I don't know, 10 Commandments, I guess 5 on each side, maybe 7. Anyway, this is a very nice citation to you on behalf of the State Senate here in Pennsylvania. Again, it's for you, and thank you for your passion, your love, and all the great stuff that you do. Actually, that's sort of death trap. Especially with ginger ale spilled all over it. So this brings us to our last honoree, and I am going to have the honor of doing the introduction for this man who I met when he was a boy, practically. I've known him longer than anybody in this. Well, first of all, let me just say that if you're not inspired by now, then I don't know. This is amazing, and all of you are amazing, and the honorees are amazing. I mean, gosh, if we could somehow take a transfusion of all of this wonderfulness, whatever that word is, and transmit it around the world, boy, I think we would have a different world. So, Robert Warner is somebody I've known since, well, 1990. And I knew Robert in a different way. I met Robert in a courtroom, the United States District Court here in Philadelphia, and I was the prosecutor, and Robert was the defendant. And at that point, he was a young man. I could kind of get a sense, although we didn't talk, that he was maybe confused, maybe a little overwhelmed. It's hard for anybody to be in federal court, but to be as young as he was, it was, I think, particularly hard. And then Robert proceeded to take a journey into the criminal justice system. And I didn't see him again until he came to my office, I'm going to say about 2013, something like that. And he walks into my office, and I'm supposed to do something. We're doing this big thing on prisoner reentry at the Constitution Center. I like the Constitution Center. But we're going to do this film at the Constitution Center called Pull of Gravity about the challenges of returning. Anyway, make a long story short, I was told that there was this amazing guy who had just graduated from the STAR program, which was the Federal District Court Reentry Program, which is second to none in the United States. And it was the first reentry program in the United States, out of the District Court and the U.S. Attorney's Office. And Robert walks into my office. It's now Ebony's office. And he walks into my office and he says, "Robert, are you?" And he said, "Yes, you were my first prosecutor." Did you not say that? That's exactly what he said. And so we sat and we talked about what happened over those 20 plus years. And I learned and I saw him, the maturation, the development. He was a man. He talked about and always talked about his daughter, his wife, his family, and how important, how they had helped him through all of this. I'm not done yet. So anyway, and I don't know whose cell phone is going off, but just a minute. So,
Just say hello.
hi, Malaysia. Oh, not bad joke. That was a joke. Okay, so here we go again. So I got to know Robert. We went down to Washington, D.C. together, to the Federal Reentry Council. We did all sorts of things together. We did presentations together. Eric Holder, who was then the Attorney General of the United States, came to the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Philadelphia to meet with the graduates of the STAR program, which is the reentry program. And Robert actually, so he met with them, the Attorney General speaks, the U.S. Attorney speaks, Zane Meminger, who I had lunch with today, and then Robert speaks. This is all on camera. This is for TV. And Robert steals the show. I mean, you just knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic. So, the Attorney General, okay, just the Attorney General. People get Attorney General's awards, some of us, but some of us don't. But anyway, that was just an aside. But anyway, the next year, I actually now fast forward to 2015 or 16, believe it or not, I got a call from the White House. And I don't get a call from the White House all that often. And they said, the president wants to do something on reentry. And he said, can you help put it together? And I said, well, yeah. So there was the NAACP conference coming to Philadelphia. And I suggested that the president meet with some people. And one of them was Robert Warner. So Robert Warner got to meet with President Obama at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. And then the president spoke about Robert in his remarks to the the NAACP conference. It was pretty amazing. And of course, I couldn't get to see the president because I didn't have John Marshall Wharton. I'm just killing it here. But anyway, but in all seriousness, Robert's gone on to do phenomenal work, and he's worked for many years with Temple University in Cure Violence, or its predecessor. And he works with kids, and he started working individually with kids. Now he supervises a whole team of people that go out on the street to try to help people make better decisions so they don't harm other people and don't get harmed themselves. And he's been doing this for years. Can you imagine how hard that is? I mean, I can't begin to imagine. But Robert does it day in and day out, and he's great at it because he's such a great human being. He's come so far, he's done so well, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you Robert Warner.
I was overwhelmed the first day Rob called me and said that he wanted to give me an award, the same way I am now today. I am that why that judge talked about. I am that why. Why? Because we make mistakes in life. And it's not what you do in the beginning, it's how you finish. I've been working my way to finish this every day for the last 12 years that I've been home. I am the director of Cure Violence of Philadelphia. I have 22 guys that work up under me. Each one of my guys hold 15 participants. And what we do, we mentor these young participants, get them jobs, change their way of life, they thinking, because a lot of these young individuals may have one parent in the household. Like me, I was that little kid that didn't have guidance. I didn't have no one to come talk to me and guide me the right way. So I implement to my guys to go out and give them 100% of your time. There's no phone call that's not unanswered. I can tell you my wife lays beside me, my daughter, and my mom, they'll tell you how my phone rings. And when these young kids at school calls my phone, I don't care what I'm doing, I have to go rescue this kid. It may be a kid that have a weapon, who don't want to use their weapon. I have to get out my bed to go rescue this kid. I have to get that gun out this kid's hand. A lot of the things that these young individuals go through is because of the education. It's young parents having kids. A lot of these parents never even graduate high school. How can you teach a kid if you didn't graduate yourself? So it's my duty to teach these kids how to get their education, how to become someone and follow their dreams. I dreamed a lot. I never thought that I'd be on a stage like this talking in front of my peoples. But I never gave up on my dreams. I took a longer route, but I'm here. I just want to thank my wife. I've been with my wife for 34 years. Through ups and downs. Through all the mistakes, through all the headaches, she hung in there with me. I want to thank my mom, who never criticized me. She still patted me on my back when I made wrong decisions, and she still supported me. I want to thank my daughter for being here, for being the backbone. For me, when I'm about to make a wrong decision, I have to think about what are my daughter going to say to me. I remember when I was sentenced in 2000, and I had got sentenced to 160 months. And they was about to ship me out to my prison. And before I was leaving, my daughter turned around and said, "Dad, can you do me a favor?" And she said, "Can you do your time and come home and can we be a family?" And that stuck with me for 10 years, the whole 10 years that I was in prison. I made it a vow to come home and be a good husband and be a good father and be a good mentor to these kids out here. It's just amazing how, you know, we come into a room like this and all of us is on the same mission. We all have different backgrounds, but we all on the same mission. There's some people that should have been here that were supposed to be here, was not here, that I'm gonna thank Cindy Zodemer, Judge Timothy Rice, Judge Restrepo. They whole team over there at the STAR program they just been phenomenal. And of course, Rob Reed, who calls me every other Sunday, talking about let's go to Bojangles to Washington, D.C., just to get some chicken. But I just want to, I know we got time, you know, it's a little late for me. I'm usually in the bed at this time. I don't want to hold everybody, but I want to give out a shout out to my dear friend right here, Marcus. Marcus came from all the way from Chicago to be here with me today. Marcus is a young man that I look up to and I follow because he gives me the line of credit to be able to go with him all around the world, speaking to these kids, speaking to people like y'all to get y'all to understand what are we going, what do young men like me go through and how can we change? You know, that was one of the things that President Obama asked me, how can I help him change recidivism? And what I told him is just, we just need a chance. So can we just continue doing what we're doing? Let's fight together in some kind of way it's gonna work. I want to thank all of y'all for coming out. Thank you.
Come up and give Robert the award. Would you do that for me? For us?